Say something nice about AlkenStar, Davis.
Crap, what do you want? The fact that it was born out of outlaws that defected from both Nex and Geb because their warfare was just the absolute worst. They found a place in the mana waste. They figured to be safe from there because, wizards don't want to war in a place where their magic ain't working right. So some folks started setting up shop out there, and you got to survive against the weird, creepy mutants in this magical wasteland. So you get the gunpowder, and then you get the science, and then you make the boom boom. And that's how we have the boom boom. The almighty guns of AlkenStar.
Did you know that AlkenStar is 90% dwarven population?
Yes. They actually were the ones who fully invented the guns, I believe. Could be wrong.
Yes. No, it is. It is Dungenhold. First, they came up with an anti-magic bomb and set it off.
Yep.
So no magic works properly in the area. And sorry, go ahead.
Did you also know that along their western range, they've been warring with a kingdom where there's intelligent animals, including their king, an intelligent gorilla, who once stole the massive bombard cannon from their gunworks and held it for a little while?
Yes, the Maw of Ravagog. And funny you should mention that, because it does come into play in certain episodes. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the All Guns, No Glory podcast. But we have a little bit of if this was an anime, I would call it an OVA series. Book 1 has ended, and we're about to start Book 2. But I found myself a little one-shot adventure called Headshot the Rot, and it happens right here in AlkenStar. And it occurs to me, since I've got Joe Davis back, our cat inventor has been in the secret room of the Bullet and Barrel Saloon with Gadaby, the alchemist inventor, who we have secretly stowed away because he is the one man that has the formula for a world-changing alchemist experiment where he has created something called pyronite. And the explosive power of something the size of a penny that could blow apart a huge iron safe, and he did it on stage at the college actually, has shook AlkenStar, and as this information will spread the known world, because he did it in front of 200 people, scholars, inventors, alchemists, and some political figures. Everybody wants him. Everybody wants this formula. And as if you've just seen, as of Book 1 of the All Guns, No Glory podcast, where we are playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Outlaws of AlkenStar, things are going to change. Starting with, we are trying to lean in to the new rules. That's right. Book 2 is going to be the new core rules of Pathfinder. We are still learning it. We ask for your patience, but we have ported the entire campaign through Fantasy Grounds into a new evolved campaign setting with the new rules. Lots of changes. For instance, little things. Flat-footed no longer exists. It is now off guard. And spells change. And cleric, the caster, changes. And. But we still have 2 original cast members to chug along for a little while. Welcome back, Joesph Davis, as your favorite catfolk inventor.
I'm mighty pleased to be here. I got to get back into that Texas twang, even though, been here my whole life. Don't speak like it normally.
Playing temporarily, or perhaps putting Charwin down, we'll say. Playing a new character tonight. We have one of our AlkenStar favorites, a Drew Malburg, also from the USA. Not quite as southern as Joe Davis, but welcome back to the show, Drew.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Introducing 2 very close and personal friends of mine that helped me start the Rollmongers brand. Yes, we're talking about 2 of the founding fathers. Canadians. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, America. But, they were handy. Matt Witt and Joe Gibson will be joining us tonight without listing a long amount of credits. I'm going to drop them in as they play. So I will call to them. They'll say who they are, where they're from, couple quick things they played, and then get into their character. Because Headshot the Rot is a one-shot. I read it. I really don't see how this can play one session. Maybe a 6-hour session if you're lucky. So buckle in for a couple of episodes, an OVA series that will connect Book 1 and 1 or 2 of its characters into Book 2, and we will see where we land as far as characters, cast, and who can survive a very memorable night here in AlkenStar. Gentlemen, I draw your attention to the screen, the map here of AlkenStar. The Mana Wastes lie south of Nex and north of Geb. 2 warring countries. One controlled and where undead are everyday citizens. The other, a, shall we say, Pashapuk, Katapesh, Arabian Persian style civilization where magic and knowledge are paramount in everyday society. And a war has gone on between these 2 states with their practically immortal leaders for generations. Because of this, there is a strip of no man's land in between these 2 nations known as the Mana Wastes, where magic, sources, foundries, flesh machines, undead have clashed for so long it has changed. So much magic has been unleashed here in these battles. It has changed the landscape and made storms, has made a need to withdraw from magic as a whole. I give you Dungenhold, where a dwarven clan that had invented firearms had gotten so fed up in being in the middle of this all. The Usulai River, which runs straight down into the Mana Wastes, no one cared about the dwarven society that was right there in the middle of all this mess. And being tired of politics, they actually came up with an anti-magic bomb, set it off. And that changed history. As one man who carried the name of AlkenStar rode into town, cut a deal, became a refugee in the shelter of that Dungenhold. And fast forward so many generations where an entire city has sprung up on a cliff that overlooks a deep river at the bottom of this cliff called AlkenStar, his namesake, where invention, science, alchemy are the leading driving forces, and gunsmith weaponry is completely controlled. 90% of guns that are built here at the gunworks, which you can see further upriver, stay in the city. They only export 10% of their trade. Now, the ever-shifting mana storms, we're talking about snow lightning, we're talking about acid pools, we're talking about mutants, people that are exposed, creatures that are exposed from these magics coming back, invading. The AlkenStar walls are high, and the whole competitive industrial society, steampunk meets Wild West, has come together against that threat. And even though on a day-to-day in the city of smog and controversy, invention and pollution, they fight each other for commerce, for wealth, for fame, they always come together to defend their city against outside threats. And tonight is no different. Our catfolk inventor has gotten a little stir-crazy. He's been locked up for days working with Vashon Gadaby. The scene comes down to the Bullet and Barrel Saloon, where these 2 men are discussing their progress, shall we say. Vashon Gadaby has a ticket given to him by an admirer. Maybe it was a bribe, but he finds he has other plans. And pulling a certain ring out of his pocket and fumbling it on and off his finger, at the end decides to offer it to you.
I mean, I'll take it. You all right there? Is the missus not know you don't wear it, or do you want to pretend to have a missus?
A new play at the Aldever Company Theater House called The First Sin of Pharasma has blown up virally in the news sheets. Everyone's talking about this play, and its main premiere is tonight. and he has a ticket. There is a couple performances in a row, back to back, and although he has a ticket to the second performance, where you might have to hang out at one of the local saloons down at the entertainment district, it is worth its weight in gold. Nah, you can have it. If I'm going to win her back, it's not going to be through a bunch of dancing clerics on the stage. I have to go about this intelligently.
I'm going to be completely honest. I ain't seen a play since that one Chalexian crew came through and did the 7 Trials of Larazad. Heavily edited because we don't allow murder plays here in AlkenStar. But I ain't going to lie. I mean, I ain't against going and seeing some Pharazmine play.
Long pause as he tries to absorb what you're saying. Great. Okay, so get out of here, you silly cat guy, you know. You
about to have a booty call? Take the ticket and walk out.
He might produce a comb from a pocket. You know, you don't know what's going on.
As I'm walking out, I'm just mumbling to myself something about, like, make sure to leave a tie on the door.
Oh, yeah. Phoebe Dunsmith sees you walking out the front door and hops off of her box behind the bar and scoots around. Phoebe Dunsmith, the proprietor of the Bullet and Barrel Saloon, has been your benefactor, has arranged and paid well for you and other adventurers and outlaws in AlkenStar, not only giving you guys shelter, but sending you out missions to get to the bottom of people that might want to steal Vashon Gadaby's formula, people that might be currently trying to reverse engineer it, and if they are successful, what that could entail. Are you going out?
Yeah, Vashon seems to want the place to himself for a little bit, and quite frankly, if that old man got somebody he wants to see, I don't think I want to be in the middle of that.
Oh, that's too bad. That's too bad, honey. My head bouncer's coming back to work tonight. I think you two get along famously. Smiling.
Well, I mean, I don't know how famous we should be in a town like this with everything going on at the moment, but I see what you're saying.
You know what? Dangling fruit is always more savory than just dropping something in somebody's lap. How about you go about your evening and come in, make an entrance sometime late this evening, and I'll tell her a little bit about how valuable you've been to my establishment.
I would. That sounds like a good old time, a grand old time. So
now Phoebe's not one to matchmake. Okay, meddle in people's affairs, yes, and have an ear to the bar and always word gossip because you know that she works for the Countess, and as a spy, has this place not only as a safe house and has hired you as an asset for said Countess. Really doesn't have time for romance. So why she's keen, maybe this bouncer is a friend. Maybe she's a really nice girl that doesn't have luck and love. You know, why she's pawning some dwarven bouncer or whoever she is off on you. Maybe she just thinks you're a little climbing the walls back in there with Gadaby and think it's an easy booty call. Whatever her motives is, she decides she 180s and literally shoves you at the door. Here, you have a good time. Don't come back before 10 o'clock. You know, that kind of thing. Bye now.
Jeez.
Shove.
You could ask nice. Oh. God,
what
rain tonight.
One Western saloon is pretty much as good as another. But here, when you finally find yourself settled and looking around at the other patrons, the Powder Horn is where you find yourself, Atticus. At a table with other patrons. Come and go. You strike up a conversation and they leave. They share half a drink. There's a lot of people checking windows, and the theater down the street and across the street is packed. Apparently the first showing is more than sold out. People are willing to just to be, bragging rights that they saw the first showing. They're standing in the wings kind of thing. So there's a lot of people around for the second showing, but the streets are packed, and a lot of people are hanging out just to see what those people say when they come out of theater. Was it any good? They don't care about, you know what I mean? They don't want to buy tickets for next week if it's shit. Now, you are in the middle of the entertainment district. There's lots to do here. There's always to do here every night, let alone on a weekend, so to speak. But I will say the anticipatory murmurs of excitement echoing off the walls at the powder horn are suddenly silenced by a blood-curdling scream. A man stumbles through the main door, clutching at a gushing net wound. A gurgling gasp escapes his lips as he topples to the floor. Even as the man's body collapses, a shambling horde of misshapen humanoids attempts to follow him through, accompanied by a fetid stench of blood and excrement. What the? Zombies? The cry comes from inside the bar as the patrons around you begin a panicked rush for the stairs leading to the upper floor. As they rush for the possible upper story safety, the burly bartender leaps over the countertop, a heavy length of wood in her hands. "The doors!" she cries, pointing at you, Atticus, and you. Welcome to the show, Drew Malburg. Would you please describe who I am pointing at?
Yeah, you're pointing at a dwarf. He's kind of getting up there in age, lots of white in his beard. He's got a big sword on his back, and he's got a clan pistol.
Cool. This picture is not him. This picture is Martel, the barmaid. Just so we're clear.
No, but seriously, look at the guns on that lady.
Damn.
He's talking about her arms, folks, and other assets. But yeah, mostly her arms.
100% her arms.
Yes. Pinch me anytime, babe.
Half elven. I'm going to go.
What's the other half?
Full-bodied dwarf. Full-bodied bartendress.
Half elf, half orc?
Yeah. Yeah, she could be 2 feet
Also,
tall.
possible in Pathfinder 2nd Edition.
Yeah. What do you two do?
I'm gonna stand as I'm standing up. I'm gonna mumble something about viral marketing's going crazy these days, and then start, I guess, barricading a door or a window with the table as best I can.
Okay. Do you grab a table on the way, or Lily drag yours from the back of the room to the front? Let's take a snapshot of the room, shall we? The square layout in a rectangular building, because the back room is south on the map. So top north center is the door that this is coming through. To the right, east, a mere 10 feet, are the stairs that go up. So everyone's actually rushing towards this construction of crazy that's of people pushing towards the door, as well as trying to stop what's coming in the door. We're looking at 15 feet outside of the door, 5 foot either side to the walls. On the right is a staircase. On the left is a corner table with a kobold amongst the patrons, standing at it, calmly just watching all this go down. Welcome to the show, Joe Gibson.
Hello.
Would you describe what and who and how your character is tonight?
Yes, I am playing a silver kobold.
Okay.
Dressed in scale mail with various other parts of metal hanging off him in various different locations.
Scale mail, is that an inside joke?
Yeah,
But no, it's an outside joke. That's the point.
Just checking, yeah.
and he has a polearm leaning against the wall behind him as his weapon of choice.
Okay. So you're actually like on the wall? Or in
Well,
the
I'm
corner,
sitting-
maybe?
I'm pretty much in the corner-ish.
Okay.
Swear to God, since you've used weapon of choice, if you don't try to talk like Christopher Walken a little, I'll be a little sad.
Coming down this west wall, where our Yoggoth Kobold, by name, if that is your real name, is 5 feet down, is a window. and then another 5-6 feet of wall, yet another window in the center, then another 6 feet of wall, and a third window before we come down the wall to the corner of the bar. The bar starts on this west wall and goes straight out east for 15 feet with 4 or 5 stools at it. Tucked into the corner on the wall, on a stool, is a particular looking little fellow. Welcome to the show, Matt Witt. Would you describe and talk about your character, please?
What you see is a very strange, small doll-like creature that is a mock-up of a centaur, but with instead of a human head, it has the head of a strange small dog.
Okay.
And coiled about its body loosely are strands of what seems to be rope.
Okay. And is your ancestry obvious?
I mean,
in AlkenStar,
is my
not so
existence
uncommon.
obvious? I would say if I wasn't actively moving, most people would mistake me for a toy sitting on that last bar stool.
You are in a town.
AlkenStar, we might still mistake you for a toy.
Yeah, yeah. In AlkenStar, people make constructs, robot people, and they are mostly second-class citizens, but they roam the streets as security force. We have police that are literally robot guards wandering the streets. So to see an automation or automaton such as yourself, even though technically you may or may not be a construct, isn't going to freak someone out.
Somebody made me.
Yeah. You might startle people, but you won't get the usual kill it with fire that you would in anywhere else.
It's like Absalom might be the only safer place.
Yeah, yeah. Considering the crazy magic in the lands around, you might have been constructed by said master, or right here in town by some alchemist or mad inventor.
I wish I knew.
But yes, introducing our third character who conveniently has a hole in his memory. Thank you, Troy. Thank you, Matt Spiegler. Matt Witt joins the fray. Searching for his past one drink at a time. Any weapons besides rope?
Well, what appears to be rope
Okay.
plainly becomes a whip as I uncoil it from my torso.
Now, undead, they have nerfed and made a little bit more characterized, and constructs through Matt Spiegler playing a gunslinger Valentine, we have learned a lot. He takes in air, cools systems, and vents it. Kind of like breathing, but not. He has circulatory fluids, oils, and things inside him, so he can actually bleed out. He must hold his breath. So even though it's different, he is subject to certain things. He can intake fluids and things. He doesn't need them to live, but he can self-lubricate by drinking something. He could burn something inside if that's part of his, he's more of a wind-up than an actual, like, I need carbs inside and there's anything inside to burn, so he probably doesn't eat. A creature such as yourself also comes under these similar constraints. I'm just curious, since I don't think anyone's played a poppet before.
Yes. So they're extremely rare in as independent sentient beings. Most can't speak. Then they're just dolls, really.
Oh my God, are you Chucky? I just put it together now.
I could be Chucky.
I was gonna say he's like Chucky if Chucky was instead the Taco Bell dog made by H.R. Geiger.
Yes, kind of.
He's the Terminator Chihuahua? Or is he some kid toy? Okay. Remains to be seen. Do you breathe? Do you eat? Do you drink? What are you doing here? Are you just searching for something and you're hanging out where people gather to find said thing or information? I'm just curious, whether you were made in AlkenStar or not, what brings you to the Entertainment District?
It's where I've always been. Easy money to be made for a creature like me.
To entertain. Oh, okay. Okay. And we're talking about circus tricks, people. No dirty mind here. Okay. He doesn't have to work at the red light district.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. With a look like that and using whips, there's some work I can think he's easily getting.
He's a sentient sex toy. That's what he is.
His light touch.
What's your name?
El Manubrio. But like the letter L.
El Marlboro? Your cigarette vending machine?
Manubrio.
Oh, okay.
Marlboro?
I thought like Marlboro Man, like he's a puppet
It's
with a cigarette.
Spanish.
And
for
see,
a
I
few
was thinking
things.
Marlboro as like the giant bad breath monster from Final Fantasy.
Marlboro.
Daddy, father, I seek him. Okay. Time speeds up again. Pointing at a dwarf, pointing at a catfolk inventor. Get the door. She comes sliding over the bar with a great big wooden paddle. You guys. Cat grabs table on his way to the door, tries to bar it. People are surging forward. What's our dwarf doing? Mr. Hugin Flintfire, played by Drew tonight. You know him as Charwin from Book 1, first season. You possibly know him in our Abomination Vaults Monday night show as a certain Gripply rogue. What do you want to do?
Let's see. Yell out. Finally, some entertainment. And then I'll start to head towards the zombies.
Okay.
I'll take a chair with me.
Okay. Is your intent to block the door or to get rid of zombies?
Attempt to block the door with the chair.
Okay. Martella points her paddle all the way down the bar. It is emptied. You alone, El Marbro, sit there in your chair. You have been here for a week. You don't drink. You don't eat. Time to earn your keep. Get the people upstairs.
Aha, but of course.
Holy shit, it talks.
I like how there's like 30 feet and he's pushing a table and just yells up the wall, holy shit, it talks! Amongst all the people screaming and the whole bar stops, right?
So I'll jump down off the bar stool, move over to the center of the room, jump up on the table there,
Okay.
and
How big are
announce to the room, ladies and gentlemen, follow me upstairs. And then hop off the table.
you? Okay. And
I'm
just,
like leaning against the table that I have against the door, and I'm like, ugh. What is it?
This way, my friends, this way.
do your legs skitter like an actual chihuahua? Like
It's like I'm a quadruped,
yeah,
but
know.
I have arms too.
Like a centaur,
So I'm a centaur,
but travel size.
but with a chihuahua head.
Okay.
And very mechanical looking, steampunky, gears and brass and wood and all sorts
yeah.
of fun stuff.
This is awesome. Eric would lose his shit. Okay, and off you go.
Yep.
Martella striding towards the door is ordering people, get out of the way or help. Trying to grab men, women, anyone strong looking. Don't just jump up and overturn the chair. Follow the dwarf, take your chair, block the door. She's kind of at the back sweeping people forward. Get up, last man to leave, right? Gets you guys as the vanguard, makes sense, right? By the time she meets the center of the room, she kind of sweeps left because everyone's going up the stairs to the right, so your stragglers or your massive people would be near the windows. You know what I mean? People that haven't gone, you know what I'm saying? Like the right side empties quickly because that's where the stairs are. Left side of the room, not so much. So as she weaves from the back to the front, drifts left, she stands at a lone table 15 feet from the door next to a table where a kobold continues to sit and drink. One hand on his weapon, just calmly watching the situation. She just looks at you and sniffs, humph, maybe figuring you're out, that you're, waiting for the worst to happen, waiting for them to break in. Why rush away when you could fight? Just make sure you're useful when the time comes, Martella says, but almost in a respectful understanding as opposed to giving you shit. I must say, she is happy that at least there are 4 people in the room, or creatures, that are not freaking out. Because everybody else, able women, man, dwarf alike. Most of them are just losing their shit at the sight of someone wounded, gushing, not from explosion, not from a killer robot, but from the Z word. Somebody mentioned undead. And with an entire nation, always with the threat of invasion to the south, they lose it and stampede each other to get upstairs. Can I have perception from the kobold, persuasion, performance or some kind of diplomacy from our poppet, and athletics from the dwarf and the catfolk to complete the tasks given in the first wave?
Game Master, do you want these in the tower that I don't see on the screen?
Why, no. Everything is going to be done out in the open tonight. No tower, no secrets.
No secrets.
No secrets. Oh, yeah.
All right, well, then I'm going to intimidate.
They would say it's the end of secrets.
13. Get
Intimidate.
upstairs, or else.
I thought you were like just passively, aggressively polite. How many people?
My athletics.
The poppet is passively, aggressively polite. How many plosives can I say with this one character? Okay, at the top, Bellamy Smokefur gets a
12 in athletics.
okay. Hugin Flintfire.
15.
Okay, both are passable. These are not hard tasks. You know, despite what's going on and pushing in, there's enough press of people that there's nowhere for said things to come. Like the people are doing the pressing, you just ride the wave to the front, carrying a table. Easy peasy there, Catman. Boof, right? Dwarf drags a chair up, push some people out of the way, locks it in place with your table. All good. El Marbo, 13, intimidate.
13
Get upstairs.
with
Okay, so you're like telling fish to swim downriver. It's already happening.
Yep.
There, you're like,
But I look mean and I crack my whip.
About to ask if you're doing the whip crack while you're telling them what to do.
Yeah.
oh, okay. You got a little whip to go with the rope? Or that is your
That's
rope?
what it is. That's what it was.
Ah, what appears to be rope. I gotcha.
Sneaky,
La-
sneaky.
Yes.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Last but not least, Yagoth.
Mhm.
Peering out the window. Nothing's come into the alley yet. You might be able to make an escape out the window, but the windows are on the bottom floor. You'd be stepping into a confined space, which would probably be death. Better to pick them off as they come through the window or through the doors. Upstairs, not a bad idea, because it's more defensible down here. You don't want to be upstairs maybe where the crowds are, but through the window, where you're low and you look up, you see wires and lines connecting the roofs of the buildings. A possible escape route.
Good to know.
So, what is our play, gentlemen? The people, the crowd, get upstairs, and so does Martella with a thankful nod to you boys. She turns to you and says, well, I can protect this lot, but if you boys want to be our first line of defense or get out there and see what the tarnation is going on, I suggest either up here with us and across the roofs or out a back window or maybe out the back if whatever's out there hasn't come calling. And this is amongst like bang, bang, bang on the front door and you guys are holding the door back. You know, like if you want, open up the door and fight your way out and find out what's going to go on. But I've worked too hard for the powder horn and too long to have this place ripped down across my ears. You boys make this work. You boys save my place and these patrons. You go find out what's going on and I will reward you handsomely. Pause and then looks down at the little whipped creature in gold, maybe even service. My name's Martella. We ought to follow them up to the second floor and get a view of the street, find out what the hell's going on out there. But still, if you boys are up for it, it's your call. And she heads up.
What do you
Colum-
do, my lady?
Yes.
Please turn my crank. And he turns around and on the back, of the mechanical centaur, there's actually a big metal key.
You're actually a wind-up toy.
Yes.
This is not helping. None of this.
I'm afraid these big meat paws might, break you, little fellow. Maybe he can help. And she points at the small kobold in the corner. More delicate fingers. Pats you on the head. Good luck. And heads upstairs.
You almost see the slumping in rejection. And I mosey on over to the kobold in the corner. Please, my friend, turn my crank.
Turns around, gives you the one eye like every cat and dog in the street to a new owner.
Is there a purr happening here?
You've seen weirder stuff since you've come to this town, Mr. Kobold.
Yeah, true enough.
Dang zombies out the front door ain't the weirdest thing happening right now.
So,
So,
Yoda,
yeah.
do you turn the
down.
This to be so dirty.
Bend over and crank up the little doll.
There you go.
I think he wants you to maintain eye contact.
Thank you, my friend. And with that, he takes off
Okay.
out towards the back door.
Okay.
That's the direction we're going? We going out back?
That's where he's going. You guys want to
Well,
call out
you-
and stop him? Like she said front door, upstairs, wires, there's windows. Maybe you can get out the back. Dude's
Hey.
made his decision, but
Little fella. Little fella. Oh, dang it.
Skids to a halt in the doorway. You may call me El Manubrio.
I ain't probably doing that. Manubrio. El Manubrio. Where you headed, bud? We going out the back?
The mistress mentioned a back door. I assumed it would be preferable than going out the front.
Oh my god, this is not helping. It is possible, but maybe a street's eye or a bird's eye view of the street might be useful before we charge out into it.
Davis, if you're thinking this is punishment for not showing up for the half a book one, you're right.
Oh no, I'm having a grand time. Atticus is not comfortable.
I know, but
I am enjoying this.
okay, good.
Takes a few steps back into the room. Ah, a man of intellect.
Well, I have done my bit. The guy who was throat bit, by the way, is he still gasping on the floor, dying?
Yes,
Is he still gasping, or is he dead?
he's probably dead. He stopped moving, and there's a lovely pool of red, and he probably got trampled.
Oh. I was reaching for one of my whiskeys and be like, oh, okay. So why don't we get on upstairs once we got this door basically like solidified, covered, and then we'll figure out our best option once we can view the streets.
Very well.
What about you, shiny boy? You coming?
Yawgmoth agrees.
Oh, okay. Yawgmoth is your name, I take it?
Yeah?
Okay. Is Yaw for short?
Yeah?
Perfect. What about you, friend?
You can call me Hugin.
Hugin? All right. I'm Atticus. Y'all can call me Atticus or Cat or whatever. I don't care. Just try to let's try and stay in communication. We seem to be the most competent people here outside of our generous hostess. And she's probably going to be covering the escape of them there. Non-helpful. So let's go take a view of the street, then we decide our route, and then we go figure out how to put these things down. I like to aim for the knees. They tend to not be able to chase you when you aim for the knees. So
now that he's openly speaking about undead and how to take care of them, knowledge religion might pop into someone's mind. Anyone?
I do have knowledge of it.
I will actually take Society about Geb with a higher DC as well.
Knowledge Society 12.
Religion 17.
Religion 12, untrained.
Society 19.
Nice.
It's funny that the guy who actually has religion with a DC of 15 knows that headshots against undead is probably your best bet. But he tells you go for the legs.
I said I
Yeah.
liked to.
I liked it, yeah.
I like it.
I cranked up the DC a bit. Yagath and the rest of you guys got close, but not good enough. So your own view on how to take care of these things, you don't have to blindly just go with what the last guy said because you failed skill check. No. The characters are yours to play. But it does also occur to Atticus that, classically undead, shoot him in the head, take out the spine. They will not chase you. They will go down.
I guess also if you remove the biter, they can't bite you, so go for the head too.
So do you guys tally on upstairs?
I'll
sure.
lean against the door until everyone is filtered to or near the stairs, and then follow up last.
Okay. The second you let go of hang on. Get back there. Move back where you were. Sorry.
There's
Okay.
a door icon.
No. We're gonna lock up
I'm
the
not
old
opening
token
it.
movement.
I think it's neat.
Yagath. What was your last roll there?
19.
19. Okay. Atticus was
17.
17. Where are we here? Dun, 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 dun,
Nice.
dun, dun, dun. Hugin, what was your last roll?
12.
12. And Elmerborough. Manuborough. I'm going to have trouble with this one,
12.
man. I'm sorry. 12. Okay.
Manubrio.
Manubrio.
Or just call him L.
L. Yeah, L works too.
Little L, yeah.
Is this like the Shrek World version of the Lies of P?
As you guys are laying this out and hit him in the head and I guess this will work type of thing, right? Suddenly there's enough force of weight of actual bodies behind the door that not only does it burst open, it pushes you guys and the furniture out of the way. Your choice is to go to the side or straight back. Bellamy, you're good because the table turns with you, and like a wall, they go past it. But our dwarf here is either going to get pushed towards Yagath or straight back to the center of the room. Your choice.
I'll go straight back.
Okay. Holding your chair, the door opens. The door, a big chunk of it is pushing against you, and shambling undead just pour into the room. And starting at the top, shambling undead, number 6. The guy that's closest to the dwarf. So in this 35 wide and at least 40 feet long, and beyond the bar in the center of the room, a straight shot from the front door is a archway leading to a back kitchen and pantry and other rooms that little L never got to. Inside the door, in front of the door, we have 2 zombies. Straight back to the table is our dwarf. Shifted to the west, we have another row. 1, 2, 3 zombies beside the dwarf, and the 2 are back towards the door. And 1 spilling around the table towards the west wall, still 10 feet away from our kobold, is zombie number 6. The first one to go is the one that's actually adjacent on your left and targeting our dwarf. Pretty much taking everything, like moving, shoving, get everybody here. It only has a swing left in it. Now, these things don't move very quickly. Another thing you can I will glimmer you, Articus, now that you get a good look at these things, is they shamble, as in they are permanently slowed. They only get 2 actions around, not 3. So I will say its first action is to get through with everybody, and the second is the actual shoving. So it's actually done, and I will move on. I don't have a third action. Coming in its wake, however, a zombie in behind just comes in and have actions left. It shambles towards its friend along the wall and starts coming at Yaggoth. I will be kind and say that as you said, sir, you coming, you were like, yep, stood up, grabbed your weapon. It's in hand. And this dude is crossing the 10-foot threshold. Do you have reach?
Yes, I do.
Do you have attack of opportunity?
No, I do not.
Okay.
It's a low level.
Okay.
But I'm rich.
Closes the gap and takes a fistful of zombie swing at you and misses terribly as it gets tangled in its friend that it crosses between the chair and the table that are too close to the wall. And gets, I wouldn't say it trips over, but it gets so wrapped up in things, it will have to take actions to retract itself from the difficult terrain it just embed itself in right in front of you. Next, we actually have Yaggoth. What do you want to do?
I would like to target, if you may, Shambling Undead number 2 and Shambling Undead number 1. I would like to cast a spell.
Okay.
Electric Arc.
All right. Go ahead.
I'm trying to. All right.
Undead number 1 fails with a 10 against your save. Undead number 2 critically fails and will suffer double damage.
Cool.
Hit our blood teardrop and let that dice fly.
6 damage.
6 to one, 12 to the other. You moderately damage one, dropping it to above 50% hit points. You heavily damage the other, dropping it below 50% hit points. As electricity rides down his arms, up the pole, and then splits at the end of his weapon, and then just arcs. Not like a magus using his weapon, he just cleverly uses the metal on him, right from his scale mail all the way up, to just rev up the arc of the electricity, and it bounces, rains down 1 and then 2 as it jumps from one zombie to the other. Any other action, sir?
Yes. And then if you can... I can clear the target so I can see. And then target, I guess, Shambling Undead number 2, please. And I'd like to swing at it.
Okay. You hit
17. Yay.
the one that is tangled up in the, or trying to extract itself from the furniture.
Yeah.
Easy mark.
For 15. 14. 15, sorry.
Yeah, 15 points of damage. Swinging high with your glaive, you literally, high above the ear and low above the jaw, just take the top of its head off, and it just goes down in a heap. That's right, gentlemen.
Yagmoth did well.
It's a night of killing zombies, if they don't kill you first. Undead number 5 comes around the back of the table. This is our straggler. 5, 10, comes towards you, and with a shambling groan, Yaggoth, repeating your name that you just yelled into the air, rolls a natural 1, and again, completely ignoring the chair that is between the two of you, falls over it, and with a natural 1, literally face plants itself prone in front of you. And I will actually make this silly little fellow prone in front of you. Next, we have Atticus. You're up. Hugin, get ready. You're on deck. And then L. Atticus, what do you want to do?
I am going to throw back my coat, grab what looks to be a weird bent folded pipe with a piece of wood attached to it, click a trigger, flip my wrist, and use my action to expand my collapsible weapon, making it expand to just basically a massive, like, elephant rifle kind of gun. And I will level a shot at the Shambling Undead 3, the one right in my face.
Done and done.
Now, if I am to aim for the head, is there anything special I need to do, or is that a figurative aiming for the head?
To my knowledge, I believe it's figurative.
Okay.
Unless something new comes revealed.
Ooh, I will take a shot. Of course.
Okay. As you unfold and level it right in its face, okay, it just leans its head back in a possible angle, reaches forward and grabs your hands right around the trigger and starts crushing your hand, forcing you to pull your, like, try to get your hand free. And the gun kicks up, like, goes off. You're just not used to being, like, you're used to being melee, right? Creatures come at you with the gun. This thing attacks you not like a person would, just in such a strange, indirect and yet direct way. It catches you off guard. And your gun goes off, misses, and I will cost you an action with an unloaded gun. Basically, because you rolled a natural one, I double whammied you. 1, I unload your gun. 2, I'm costing you an action. Yeah. You have a single action left. What do you do?
I'm looking to see if there's any other drawback for critically fumbling, but I believe all it is I now have to...
I don't have to use the cards that are really mean, but, Fantasy Grounds has some nice generic tables if you guys want me to...
Well, no, it's because it's a gun. That's my concern.
The natural one misfire stuff.
That's what I wanted to make sure of, because I don't think it misfires itself, but now it's gotten to the point now if I do roll a 1 again, it does misfire and cause damage because it's like jammed, kind of.
So while you're double checking, or do you need a minute?
No, I was gonna do something else. While it's gripping my trigger hand, I'm going to, well, no, that would be an action. I'm gonna try and kick it.
Okay. Go right ahead.
I don't
use a fist. Use the fist. Like, do you have a fist attack?
I don't actually.
Okay.
I have my daggers.
I can grab you one. He's about to kick him, not fist him.
I'm a cat. I'm a cat. The digits on both are kind of the same. So, I will, while it's holding my hands, I'm just going to rear back with one of my feet and kick it. I'm going to go for the knee.
Because it's rude to shoot somebody in the knee. We know that, right?
Yes, totally.
Okay.
That is that doesn't seem right.
17 is a hit. Yeah.
Okay. I guess I rolled better than I thought. Okay, so 17 to hit, and then
damage.
6 damage.
Yeah, okay. Being dead and quickly rotting, or maybe just its transformation into the undead state, it's fighting against its own rigor mortis, and maybe the bones have become brittle because you break his leg and just crush his knee. It doesn't go down, but he's certainly got I'm on one leg and the other one's like dragon. As you moderately wound him, Hugin, Flintfire, a dwarf miniature holding 2 guns. What do you do?
I will reach back on my back, pull out my bastard sword with both hands, and slash from his head down to the guy to my west.
You have a name like Flintfire and you don't have a gun?
I have a clan pistol.
Oh, that's only for bursts and special occasions. Okay.
It's for parties, bang, bang.
Okay. Obviously, I gave you the wrong mini. I have a dwarf with a cloak and 2 guns out, so I'm like, and I pull my sword. What?
I pull out my
26.
That is a critical, sir. And here I was going to say, the 4 pre-gens for this adventure are all gunslingers, and we do not have one gunslinger here. But I guess it's okay, because you guys are doing all right.
23 damage.
You literally cleave him in twain. I take back what I said. You're doing fine. 1 action left. 1 to draw. 1 to swipe.
Nope, no actions. There was 2 for my power attack.
I don't
power
think it's
attack,
fair. I don't think it's fair that you're saying we don't have, a gunslinger. I literally slung my gun out from under my jacket.
I'm sorry. What free archetype did you take? Alchemist on top of
I don't
Inventor?
think that
did you
matters.
not?
That is not the point, sir.
We're just saying the class of gunslingers provided 4-fold, and I'm very curious. But yes, look at all that gunslinging that high pollutin' and hootin' and rootin' tootin' cat folk inventor alchemist is doing as he pulls out an elfin gun and doesn't seem to know how to use it with his natural 1.
Sorry. It's a massive rifle and I'm in close quarters. I don't know if you've ever done that. It's not an easy thing to do.
I'm sure a gunslinger would handle it better. El Malburg. Manubrio. Sorry. Forgive my jabbing with Davis. Obviously,
Just call me L.
L.
It is all your primitive mind can handle.
Is that how you move like a chess piece? Just he skitters and then goes sideways?
He's a knight. That actually is kind of funny.
You're your own Sir Didymus.
That's good stuff. I'm not going to do anything other than use the whip that I have in my hand to start unleashing massive whippiness.
Against whom?
Against shambling undead.
4?
Number 4, yes. Do I have him targeted? No, I untargeted him there.
It's fine.
There it is. I got him. So I am going to...
Yes.
Activities. It's on here. I saw it. It's good stuff. There we go. Okay. That is a critical success to trip Shambling Undead 4.
So tell me what happens with your whip. As much fun as I have describing how this goes down, I'll get you guys like after the the flavor and the consequences. Go right ahead.
Does a little swirl, and the whip cracks out, wraps around the ankle of the Shambling Undead, and I just give a little tug and upend it in a dramatic fashion. As a critical success, the target falls, lands prone, and takes 1d6 bludgeoning damage.
Oh,
Nice.
okay. Give me a D6. So what actually happens is he does this in his head, but the thing takes a step before him and just doesn't see the little tiny dog doll and falls over him. And then he comes up the other side of the ankle with a whip like, aha, success.
Which is exactly what he does. Ha-ha! Gaining panache.
Oh.
Ooh.
So, let's talk about panache.
So being a swashbuckler, every time I do certain things, which because my the type of swashbuckler I chose was gymnast. So any time that I successfully grapple, shove, or trip a foe, I gain panache. And panache gives me access to things like 2d6 additional damage per strike.
So these are
also,
points like that
it's like a mechanic. So in order to get going, I got to do something fancy.
Yeah. It's like getting a focus point and then burning it to do extra damage and something. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So with that being done, I shall take an additional strike against this foe at the
penalty of
-5.
Is it -4? Or do you not have an agile?
No. Sorry, my bad. It should be agile. I thought it was agile.
Well, it should be right
it
there.
is not agile.
Oh, okay.
It is finesse.
Okay.
Which makes very much sense for a swashbuckler like me.
Okay. Have at us.
Natural 20.
Okay, I'm not going to describe what you whip your rope around this time, but what happens?
On the prone dude.
Oh, hit an undead when he's down.
Yes. Just full body whiplash. Starts at the groin area and like does the wave all the way down to the body with the head of the tip of the whip.
Oh, that
in the
that
face.
back and forth weave, that left, right, like the lion tamer does, and you just start marking the territory.
No, just a single massive crack of the whip, but
Okay.
like the final crack starts hitting, midsection and running, and the whip rakes down the whole body and ends the crashing clap right on the face.
Damage.
So it'd be 6 points of damage.
Plus your
but it
panache.
should also do the
The panache.
2d6, and I don't know how to apply that.
Okay, so just roll me 2d6 and I'll put it on.
For another 8 points.
For another 8 points.
Oh, that would be doubled as well, would it not, on a critical? So 16 points.
Okay. A little overkill. Not necessary at this time. He gets on the inside, some tender parts, okay? And you come down on his metal belt buckle so hard that it drives it into his abdomen and disembowels him, and then just guts start spilling out that it, even though it doesn't feel pain anymore, just can't hold itself together. And you destroy this undead, bringing me to
Olé!
6 enter, 3 are destroyed inside the first round, 3 remain. This one that was grabbing at your trigger hands continues to relentlessly attack you. Well, before it was a matter of your miss, but starts swinging wildly at you, Atticus, and hits you for 1d6 plus 3 bludgeoning damage. Comes down with a fist and grabs you. It's 1d6 plus 3 bludgeoning damage for 7 points of damage plus grab. The grab costs an action, so it is my second action. The zombie's last action was a successful strike. But now I actually have a hold of you. And for flavor, we'll just say that he doesn't go for the gun. He's just grabbing on, to the arms or the lapel of your vest kind of thing, because that was all in the area of said trigger.
It's real Chilexian leather.
I'm going to give you the condition that used to be called grabbed. We'll just double check my new... Oh, it's still called grabbed. Okay. With the grabbed condition, which brings us down to undead number 1, just tucked inside the door, shambles forward 5 feet south towards our dwarf. And you being an obvious no one is near you target, and its friends or foes falling at your feet, undead always love to surge and be the next in line. Moves forward and takes a single swing at you and smacks you hard, Hugin, with a 1d6 plus 3 bludgeoning. But since I've already used an action to step forward, it doesn't get a hold of you. However, it says last action. I don't know if this would carry over into a round. I'm going to say for our slowness, it probably does not. So, as far as damage goes, 7 points, Hugin. And that ends our very first round of combat. And round 2, starting with Yalgoth, we will see you all next time.
Whoa.